Hi there. Okay, so I'm just going to come on and answer a little question that I get asked an awful lot. And that question is how to decide what exercise program is good for you. So if you're a complete beginner, it can be quite daunting to think, where should I start? But really, initially, just start with fun. But if you are somebody that doesn't really enjoy exercise that much, and I know there's a lot of people that are out there, or feels that it's a chore to start with, then you need to have a good a good reason why you need to exercise. And we all need to exercise. We all need to move, whichever format it is in. So it doesn't have to be at the gym. It doesn't have to be at an exercise class. You can get that out of gardening or walking. But what if you're just sticking to gardening and walking, what that doesn't do, it doesn't give you a consistency. So if you, unless you can garden every single day, go out in the garden, or you can garden 3 times a week and it's not weather dependent, then to try and get your strength gains, your flexibility in that, it probably won't be enough. So at this time of year, it's great. The weather's nice. You can get out and you can get your exercise, some of it by gardening and probably going a walk. So how to decide what the body needs, first of all. So take a look at your body. What does it need to actually function? How do you find out what it needs to function? Well, just look at your daily movement that you have to do. So you have to bend down, pick things up, various weights that you have to pick up, a box that the postman's delivered. You have to bend down to move things to the side. You have to reach up above to put things in cupboards. You have to dry your hair, maybe sort your hair out, whatever that is. You have to maneuver into positions to get to places in and out in your house. If you're cleaning, if you're trying to find things, like you have to be able to bend down to get and reach under the bed. You have to be able to reach and probably hold your arms up in the air to paint, or and if you don't do that sort of action, imagine how weak you're going to be if you don't do that now. And I know a lot of people, we've become this massive labor saving type of population all over the world, haven't we? We get somebody in sometime. I don't, but because I don't, but you get people in to do the decorating, the cleaning, the gardening. Pretty much every activity has been taken up by a person in their job. So you can employ somebody to do all the movement that you like, and you will be very limited then on what movement you do. But to decide what functional movement you need, functional movement. So to decide what exercise program for you, you need functional movement for a start off. As we age, and I hear this a lot, I hear people saying, like, I'm no longer going to bend down, pass me that. You hear people saying to partners, pass me that, pick that up for me, undo the bottle top for me, can you put these things out the cupboard a little bit lower so I can reach them, can you get that from underneath the bed? These are just the normal things. Can you lift up, walk backwards carrying an object for quite a long time? Just have a little think about the day-to-day basics that you do on your movement. And where you want to start with this is to think about how you can enhance that movement to make everything in that daily movement a lot easier for you, rather than being worn out. Because if you're starting completely from scratch, and say you work, or you used to work in an office and you are quite sedentary, and you've become quite sedentary over time, then any form of exercise can be quite daunting. So that's what you need to look at first of all. and look at the length of time that you are going to need the functional exercise. You're going to need functional exercise for life, for the whole of your life. So the more things you give up doing because you've got an ache and pain, the less you're going to be able to do as you age. So if you are having aches and pains, you shouldn't be having aches and pains. So go to a doctor, have a look, get sorted, then find somebody who knows about exercise to start to do your rehabilitation back from that. Because if you give up your movement, it'll be a decline in many, many other areas as well in your body. So it's important you don't give up different movements. I hear people say, I don't want to ever burpee again. And it's like, no, you don't have to burpee again, but just watch what the movement of a burpee is. Okay, let's just adjust that camera because it's like not seeing me too much there. I don't want to lose me and see the ceiling. Hang on, can I get it? So the movement of a burpee is this: you jump up, you're out, you're down, you lift, you're back, you're up. Okay, so you don't have to do burpees, but in everyday functional life, you are going to have to bend down, lift something off the floor. Yeah. So, and again, people start to lose flexibility in being able to get down. Now, that only happens because you've stopped doing that movement. Okay, there may be reasons why you've stopped doing that movement. The reasons may be because you've got an issue with your knees. So if you have an issue with your knees, get to the bottom of what the knee issue has been and get it repaired, get it sorted, go to the doctor, speak to the doctor, then go to your physio, get your physio, go to your exercise professional, get them to help you to strengthen or put flexibility in or get the movement back from that. If it's a straightforward no that you say about doing these things, it's a degenerative way that you're going to end up in life. So going back to that burpee, you have to in life come to this position. You have to in life, when you're lying in your bed, come here, okay? You come on here, you have to push up. Well, that's the push-up part of the burpee. You will always have to push yourself out of bed in some way, format. You have to, from there, step up. You're always going to have to, at some point, step up and push off the back leg. Now, that's only really, really difficult for you if you've stopped doing it. I'm not saying go straight in and start that again now. Off. You can use an object to help you push up, to start, but don't just do it once a day. Start to understand. So that's where you need to look at exercise prescription for you. So I'm not saying you've got to do burpee. All I'm saying is that once you start to say you're not doing certain movements, it's just a decline of movement as you age. All right. So, and you want to keep that movement for as long as you possibly can, because that is what is going to keep you alive. And so it's important to, going back, get the right exercise prescription for you. So what we do is, so we've talked about functional exercise, doing things because you have to do them on a day-to-day basis. Now, going back then, we do corrective exercise. So maybe in the past, you have had a break. You have broke your arm, you've broke your foot, you've had knee problems. So you played football when you were younger and you smashed your knee up. So now, yes, getting down and getting up is uncomfortable for you. Check it out with the doctor. If anything's uncomfortable, it needs fixing, yeah? And we have brilliant doctors, brilliant surgeons. So go and get it seen to. If, I know with ladies, menopausal ladies, we get aches and pains and joint aches in that. Now again, that's because estrogen is left the building, left the body. But if you stop those movements, then you will again degenerate, and the aches and pains won't go away over time. If there's a lot of inflammation there, you rest. Okay, you never work on an inflamed joint or any, obviously it's obvious you wouldn't on any breakages, but if you never work on an inflamed joint, but you allow that to go down. So if you're just getting some aches and pains from normal movement, placing hands down on the floor, then you start to build this movement back up in your wrist. Do you know the strength gains can be made right up to death? So age, there's always something for you. So if you can't put your hands down on the floor flat and push like you would in a press up, move my chair away because that's on camera. So if you can't do this down in that position, all right, and push, you start against a wall, hands there, and just hold for a minute, press, 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 and release. You don't have to do it that way. You can put your hands together there and push, 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 and release, or grip balls. So there's something for you for everyone. So functional movement, first of all, we said, functional movement, day-to-day exercise, every movement that you have to do to be alive. There's another one that people say, I don't want to run backwards. I don't want to run or walk backwards. But you've got to walk backwards. If you open cupboard doors or fridges, you're walking backwards. You're walking backwards in a lot of movements. So you've got to keep, just because you are afraid of tripping over, you still got to, in your lifetime, walk backwards. So just do it slowly, surely, sure-footedly, until you get used to, again, confidence. Because most of the time, it's just confidence that you need if you've stopped doing a certain movement. So corrective exercise, okay, we've covered that. So as I say, if you have broken a wrist or you've broken a foot, and you've got a knee issue, you check it out with the doctor, you go and get checked with that, you then start corrective exercise, as in a physio type of exercise. You haven't got to completely, I know these things cost money, going to physios and going to personal trainers and things like that. But once you've got your program and you continuously do it, then you will be on the way to getting better. And then you just readjust, right? I've got that. I've managed to correct it there. Now what else do I have to do? And just have some assessment, some guidance all the way through. So you can always improve and get a lot of movement back. Okay, there's some considerations with some people, obviously, but on the whole. So exercise for functional ability, exercise for corrective exercise if you've had any breakages or anything. Posture check, you want to have posture. You want to be able to be comfortably able to sit up tall. You want to be able to stand up tall. You want to be able to stand in a good position, to have a strong core, so that because that obviously is the center of the whole of your world, really, your core and your hip complex, and that has got to be very strong. We know that as ladies and men, as we age, as people age, the hip complex can become a very sort of complex area, literally a complex area. It's one area that a lot of people have hip placements. A lot of people, as they age, because their hips, their legs, their hips have not had the right type of exercise, they have falls. And actually, once you have falls, that is usually a very fast decline. So we want to prevent falls. So finding out from your exercise program, functional day-to-day activity, you want to be able to do that, reaching cupboards, bend down, get up off the floor, reach under the bed, twist to the back, put your seatbelt on. You want to be able to lift things off the Amazon man. You want to be able to balance. Balance is another huge one that we need because of, as I was saying, the hip issue that becomes as we age. So all of that has to be in a package. Now, rehabilitation. So you haven't even heard me speak about weight loss yet, have you? We're just talking about movement and making the most of your body and its abilities. And that is number one, the most important thing. Honestly, too many people go straight in the door on, I'm going to exercise because I need to lose weight, without actually thinking about, if you don't exercise, what can happen to the rest of your body. So forget the weight loss thing at the moment. Think about all those functional, corrective, posture check, rehabilitation. If you have if you've been ill from any treatment, maybe from, any cancer treatment or any heart issues, it's rehabilitation from that. And yes, I understand that, these times can be quite really, really scary for people who have never really exercised. I know I've had in the past several people that have said to me, I really struggle with the feeling of, and this is not having heart issues or anything, I really struggle with the feeling of a raised heart rate when I move, and it scares me. And okay, at that point, if the fear is stopping you from doing anything, any exercise, any cardiovascular exercise, any walking faster and getting breathless, you need to get breathless, okay? But if you have a big fear about that and it is really worrying you, go and get a check with the doctor. And you should have a check with the doctor before you begin exercise programming anyway, okay? Any form of exercise, that's your aerobics class. If you've never done exercise before, go to the doctor, have your checkups. If you've got any concerns, ask him to do a check, and they will, and they'll clear you for exercise. And then you know that, getting your heart rate up, feeling breathless is a really normal and encouraged thing to do, but within your range. Now, that's another chat. That is, how do you know when you're working in your range? That's another complete chat that I'll come on and do again another day. But this is all beginners exercise, or people who've tried exercise and stopped because they have some fear during that exercise plan that they've had. So there you go. We have to find the right exercise plan out of that for you. Functional, corrective, posture check, rehabilitation, balance. All right. And then how do we do that? Well, we know that strength training is really, really important. And to me, strength training is the most valuable out of all of the training, because it incorporates so many of the disciplines in it. You get breathless when you are lifting weights, so it does challenge your cardiovascular system. There is balance involved. You do train unilaterally, so we train with weights one side at a time. Some of them are balancing positions. So weight training, because of the gains, especially with your hip complex, as I was saying before, and your bone density, is highly, highly important. So you always need to have some strength training in your program. How many times a week should I exercise? When you start exercising, 3 times a week is plenty. So if you did a walk, 30-minute walk, and then you did 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes of weights and 10 minutes of stretching, okay, that would be a good program for you to start. How many times a week? 3 times. Do that. A rest day between, a rest day between. Consistency is the main thing. Again, I was out with somebody the other day, and we were talking about this, and she said, I don't think I'm going to go to the gym anymore. I feel like I'm getting a lot out of walking. And, you know, this lady's heading in towards 70 now. She's formerly done weights in a exercise programming when she was, you know, but now she's feeling that that is a little bit more of an effort to do. But, you know, it's better to, so just cut the time down, but still do it. The consistency of exercise is the most important thing. All right. So maybe not work out for the length of time, but reduce the time and still do 3 times a week. Reduce that, so you've got a little bit more recovery energy, or spread it out. So maybe you don't go every other day off. Maybe you have 2 days off and then you go 1, and then 2 days off and then you go 1, you know, and work it like that. But it's the consistency that is going to keep you strong. It's going to keep you progressing and moving forward. So back to the first question, how to decide what exercise program to do. So I like to, cover all those: cardiovascular system. We want strength training. We want flexibility, most of all. We want, the other one as well is skills and coordination. And often people say to me, like, I'm not coordinated, so don't give me anything coordinated. But we always have to do coordinated thing, and it challenges the brain, and we need to keep the brain challenged. But again, you know, I'm not asking you to rub your tummy, pat your head straight away and stuff like that. Can I do it still? Yeah. You know, it is just simply doing maybe a leg movement first on its own, and then doing an arm movement on its own, and then certain things mixing, one arm movement, one leg movement. Simple. You haven't got to be dancing. You haven't got to do aerobics. You haven't got to do anything like that. You know, it just is simple motor skills that you need to keep in, to keep that brain stimulated, to keep those neuro pathways there so that you don't regress. Yeah. So that's where we're at, really. And as I said, we haven't taken in consideration weight loss, because once you start a consistent program, I mean by that, so you decide what you can do within the time frame that you've got. Some people say, like, I'm just doing twice a week. To be honest, I think that you can squeeze it more than twice a week out. You know, you definitely can. You just need to pick chunks out. So you don't need to do your whole hour in one. You can do a 20-minute walk in the morning. You can do a 30-minute weights in the afternoon. And you can do a little bit of stretching while you're sat watching the television. You know, it can work out like that. Okay. But first of all, small things to get started. If that sounds like it's all overwhelming you, all right, that you're doing all that in one day, then just start consistent, a habit. So start with your walking this week. You're going out 3 times a week. You're going for 3 walks this week, or 3 swims this week. Okay. Once you've got that going, and you've done it maybe for a month, then add the next bit. I'm going to swim. Now I'm going to add in my weights. I'm going to swim weights. You can alternate them too. You don't have to do a swim on the same day. You can alternate them. All right. But sit down, have a think what you can manage into your time schedule, and you are being unrealistic, you're more likely to not do anything at all. Paralysis by over-analysis. Okay, so you just want to have a look at your schedule and try and factor in the guidelines of exercise. So yeah, you want your weights, your cardiovascular, and your flexibility and your motor skills, which come in anyway, 3 times a week. And if you want any help with that, then just drop me a message, because I can do that and have a little chat to you, have a consultation with you, and decide what is the best type of exercise for you to do, and how to get started. And I love to get people started on exercise, and get them feeling results. You know, if you look at your life, anything that you've been successful in, you've done consistently, haven't you? You've done it repetitively. You haven't just done it once, left it for 3 weeks, and then gone back to it. You know, if you take up a craft, if you take up a hobby, you know that if you are taking up a hobby and you're only picking up that knitting once a month, that jumper's never going to get finished. Whereas if you say, on a Tuesday night and a Thursday night, I can pick that knitting up, before you know it, it's consistent. Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday. And you have got a beautiful jumper knitted, or blanket, or whatever it is. Just break it into small. It's the same with everything. Language. Want to learn a language? Small chunks. Don't give yourself. Don't overwhelm yourself. Small chunks. And it's refreshing, and it's encouraging to see, once you've nailed that, how you just switch that through your life in every form, in every format, whether it be in keeping up with your gardening, doing your cleaning, doing your admin, doing some work, meeting friends, whatever it is. You're just programming it in so you get more things into your life and they're not overwhelming. I hope that helps a little bit and gives you a little bit more idea. And yeah, so I'll come on and do more beginner chats. And if you've any questions, you've just got to ask permission with StreamYard, because I'd come through StreamYard, and I can answer any questions on the screen. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon. Bye from me, Gail Abbey.